name is Dave Barnett. Please join me in welcoming Dave Barnett.
They look all dressed up and ready to go. Good morning, everyone. I just want to thank Jesse and the Asian Debate League for bringing me out. This is my first time in Taiwan. I'm very excited. As Jesse mentioned, I'm the director both of the University of Kentucky debate program, but also the Tournament of Champions. And last April, we made the decision to make this tournament a TOC qualifier. It is the first TOC qualifier and only TOC qualifying tournament in Taiwan and Asia, and it's very exciting to see where this can go. And I hope everyone debates very hard today and has a good time. And I look forward to judging some of you and talking to you more tomorrow. Thank you very much.
I only swear that today, no matter what happens, I will not be disappointed because I know that I am already a winner for deciding to come today. I solemnly swear that today, if I win, I will win humbly, thanking and congratulating my opponents. I solemnly swear that today, if I lose, I will lose gracefully, thanking and congratulating my opponent. Great. Good luck and enjoy your first round. Do your best. And hopefully all of you will do very well.
obstacle that they cannot pass. They're apt to fall down.
No, we can trust the U.S. to back us up because they want to promote democracy in Asia, and Taiwan is the only way to do that.
Why do you think China is angry at Taiwan?
China is angry at Taiwan because the U.S. is continuing arms sales to Taiwan, which angers and provokes China. So that's why we should stop arms sales and not let China attack.
Chinese population can be liberal, democratic, and socialist. Taiwan is
policy is creating an arms race, destabilizing a region, and increasing the risk of conflict to China. Arming Taiwan to deter China elevates tension with China. The policy of U.S. arms sales to Taiwan therefore represents a classic case of security dilemma. On one hand, the U.S. wishes to provide Taiwan with a lens to deter Chinese aggression. On the other hand, these efforts are fierce as the U.S. attempts to divide China and result in greater arms buildup in China.
Even though we did not even say anything about stability. Also, they did not. They answered the wrong things to our we need weapons, Pacific lineup, and business interest. They did argue to that.
Even if Donald Trump made an irresponsible choice, China made made a choice that's even more unresponsible. For example, China's president changed the rule, and so now he can be president for as long as he wants, and therefore we can trust U.S. more than China.
Second, we win on probability. U.S. leadership as president is important to the world. Can you imagine if U.S. drops the leadership, then China will take it? What this world will be? U.S. is currently leading the world peacefully without any kind of trouble, and there are no wars going on.
Asia. So next I'm gonna talk about 10 relations. If U.S. stops selling arms to Taiwan, relations on all three ways are good. If U.S. stops selling arms to Taiwan, relations on all three ways are good. Taiwan was a major problem between the relations of U.S. and China. So if they stop arms sales to Taiwan, the relations between U.S. and China would improve significantly since Taiwan was like the barrier between their relations.
U.S. arms sales to Taiwan increased the likelihood for conflict, then we should win this debate. According to Mizokami 2017, China has a secret plan to be ready to invade Taiwan by 2020. Taiwan enjoys military protection from the United States government of Xi Jinping and the PLA both believe that unification by force is the only way to ensure control of Taiwan returns to Beijing.
However, that if we don't stop the arms sales towards the United States, it will cause the Asia-Pacific area to be unstable because China's military power is growing, and other countries in the Asia-Pacific area, such as Japan or Philippines, will start to build their military powers and start to feel threatened because China's military power is growing rapidly. So they will, on the other hand, build their weapons also, which will cause this area to be unstabilized.
But like Japan, for example, what you just said, they signed a contract after the war to say that they kind of have their own military, and all the military and stuff is from the U.S. So technically,
Yeah. They talked about how it won't happen, right? Increasing tension won't happen. But in our argument, we have argued that right now we need flash flood because Trump has been aggressively targeting China's one China policy and making this right now. We need flash flood between China-U.S. relations. The impact is high because this avoids war and it ensures people's safety. You also talked about China won't attack. I disagree because how do you know? We need full preparation before a war actually happens. The probability of a war is high because China is already threatening us in military forces and in videos. Okay, so if the U.S. abandons, even if the U.S. abandons Taiwan, then what does arms sales
because if you're stopping so can you please explain your arms race?
They have only old weapons like I told you before, and also and if Taiwan if China attacks Taiwan and more countries will join in, and that will create a war.
That's our first intention. The reason why the tension and stability will increase because of these arms sales are because if you keep provoking someone, and the other person tells you to stop and you do it over and over and over again, when you want him to stop, you do.
They also talked about how the Israeli
sure that North Korea is gonna be denuclearized forever and forever because nuclear weapons are the only weapons that make North Korea like powerful in this whole world. So they won't easily try to give up. Like they might pretend they're giving up, but it's not gonna be easily give up.
History has proved that competition actually causes the countries to improve because, for example, the Cold War, when the Soviet Union and the United States was having a Cold War, they improved on so much of their technology, which causes them to be one of the leading countries today. So it is actually causing benefits.
This makes Chinese hegemony more inevitable for 3 reasons. 1, China gets full Taiwan's opportunity. And second, it makes China easier to threaten the Japan southern flank in Okinawa, which also has US military bases. And third, China will get more opportunities in South Asia, China Sea, which means that this is extremely bad because 1, if China gets the all responsibility in East Asia, then they cannot stop the conflicts that are happening, right? For example, India and Pakistan conflict right now because they're ill-equipped and they're unwilling to stop those, which means that conflicts will happen a lot and then it will result in many deaths. And also second, Japan and other countries will arm with nuclear weapons because they fear Chinese influences, right? Then China will think, oh, they're attacking us, and then therefore it will cause a whole Asia in becoming a nuclear war. So even if their contention is true, this outweighs their impact of having a US and China nuclear war because our magnitude is so much better since we prevent a war that could involve in all the countries in East Asia. This might lead to warming because nuclear war, right? If nuclear war happens, then warming will happen because it makes holes through the ozone layer. They just say mushroom thingy, but then like if it blocks the sun, then it will lead to climate change, which means that it will still kill tens of millions of people.
Well, the cloud will take ages, such as like a volcano erupting. There's like this cloud that will block out the sun, and that can not accelerate global warming. And also, we already said that a nuclear war would actually kill millions of people. Therefore, there will no longer be enough humans to pollute the world. But we already said that nuclear war is not going to happen. So therefore, we should just continue.
Okay, so you're basically saying that we should sacrifice those millions of people, and then instead
We're saying that nuclear war won't happen, so we won't have to sacrifice.
You're saying that if nuclear war happens, then
Yeah, but we're saying that nuclear war won't happen if we end the arms.
Okay, I know, but then can you explain less people will survive and then it will lead to less climate change? Like, doesn't it actually increase because, right? Because like people will increase like global warming, like pollution, because like they want to get more and more resources, right?
So basically, we're talking
Less
about
people.
your impact here has no link, since it's not going to happen. Second of all, it doesn't really make sense. So
So the first thing that the US would never sell Taiwan is US funds. The US is still afraid of trying to pressure. So the opponent has continued to the US is the most advanced. Instead of selling Taiwan to F-35 and other fighter jets that Taiwan actually wants. Even if the US does sell those jets and other weapons Taiwan wants, the most advanced ones as Fatima mentioned, Taiwan's military would never be strong enough to fight against the Chinese military. And China had recently been ruled by President-for-life Xi Jinping, increasing tensions so much on Austrian side that everything now is different from 37 years ago. In addition, the Chinese military capability itself has also increased so much that Taiwan is simply unable to function. Now there's a high possibility for these sides to go to war. Not just any other war, but nuclear war.
Other ways to invade Taiwan. However, they did not mention what would happen if China did invade Taiwan. They told us that Taiwan should expand its military expenditure on diversifying its economy. However, are they aware that if China were to overtake Taiwan, the economy wouldn't matter? It would just be helping China to set up an even more successful military base in Taiwan to conduct more aggressive invasions on other nations in the Southeast Asian region. Today we are here to talk about why America should continue arms sales with Taiwan, not why Taiwan should stop arms sales with America or why China will invade Taiwan. Second, although this might lead to like military battles between Taiwan and China, but China knows that there's the United States backing up Taiwan right now, so having a war will just lead to mutual assured destruction. That if China are firing arms to Taiwan, the United States will fight back, and this just leads to both countries demolish each other, basically. And also extend it to why like the United States leading the region. So first, having the United States with each region will just lead to regional instability. So just if you think about it, like there's tons of islands like Japan, South Korea, even Taiwan, Philippines are backing up by Japan. So back on the United States. So even if the United States leave the presence of Asia, this lead to like these countries doesn't have so they need to develop their own movement. So this might lead to the globalization or even nuclearization.
First, I'm going to talk about the important arguments, and then I'm going to strengthen in our case. In their world, they want to end arms sales. However, this is paradigm. We have had arms sales for 37 years and nothing has happened. Yes, we do agree that the status quo is unique, but the 1.2 billion arms sales was in 2014. We can see that the status quo is changing, and that is more important for us to continue arms sales. Their world leads to nuclear war. Classified Motion 5. China is increasing their military, and we must be prepared for any attack. And they're saying that China does not want hegemony. How do you explain why? How do you explain the fact that they have been expanding across the South China Sea for the past 20 years? And also, we should not take this risk to end arms sales first because we don't want to appease China. By ending arms sales, it is not just appeasement to China, it is complete submission for Chinese dominance over the region. In our case, we are not appeasing to China because there are a lot of net benefits to Taiwan from the increments in the trilateral relations. This is a strategic approach that we must take and that we believe is best at preserving the global stability, which is our framework. And they said that they are not appeasing to China. However, how do you know that China won't think that the US are appeasing to China? And second, we must combat Chinese hegemony, which is growing. And now that we have Taiwan, they said that we have Taiwan troops. However, China is unreliable, so we cannot take this time to get rid of the arms sales because the arms sales is actually what prevents war from actually breaking out and is actually what protects Taiwan and defends them. And also on our democracy, they said that there are no harms to democracy, but our Gao 18 literally says that Chinese aggression against Taiwan threatens democracy and freedom around the world. And with our strategy of selling it with increments, it will not only prevent China's anger towards America's sales, but it will allow Taiwan to have a better capability to deter any possible China attack before the US comes to rescue. And in our world, we already said a lot of time we sell for war, for any type of war or nuclear war they mention. They ignore this throughout their speeches. They don't understand our framework and our solvency. We believe that we should continue arms but deliver them in a different way that won't anger China and that will actually preserve and increase like Taiwan's democracy. And my partner has given a lot of examples why, therefore please vote for now.
Because they dropped our contentions on China relations, besides saying that the arms China is selling to Taiwan will not help them win a war, and that they contradict themselves later by saying we should give Taiwan the arms to defend itself. What they said about arms sales helping Taiwan and not provoking China is false, because as we read in our evidence by Glaser, the director of the Institute for Security and Conflict Studies, arms sales is the main reason that is causing tensions. The China relations contentions is crucial because arms sales are hurting U.S.-China relations. However, they completely dropped our contentions on military balance. The military balance is incredibly important because it talks about how the U.S. is not some useful weapons to Taiwan, and therefore considering arms sales has no benefits. And they also completely dropped nuclear war, besides saying without reading. The nuclear war contention is key because Taiwan is a ticking time bomb, and the U.S. must withdraw itself unless facing a backlash. And the fact that my partner literally refuted all their contentions, such as appeasement, as my partner said, accommodation is not appeasement. As said in the Glaser card from 11, U.S. concession does not equal appeasement. The military and choice of the United States in their interest is not due to China's pressures. Giving up arms sales to Taiwan reduces China's ambition on other issues. Therefore, that contention should be dropped. He also refuted their argument that arms is crucial for Taiwan, and ending arms sales to Taiwan does not mean abandonment. The United States still has many bases in Asia, including South Korea and Japan, that could still come to Taiwan's aid. Also, regarding their U.S. credibility contention, firstly, the United States relations with other countries than Taiwan are different, as the United States has treaties with countries such as Japan to come to their aid, while the Taiwan's Relations Act is nuanced and does not require direct action of the president. Therefore, that should be dropped. Their democracy argument is completely false. Taiwan is not becoming democratic. Will not affect other countries. Other countries' democracy will not fall because of Taiwan, and nor will it keep democracy because of Taiwan. This is completely
completely unrelated, and the U.S. can maintain hegemony over Asia either way. Regarding U.S. hegemony, ending arms sales does not decrease U.S. hedge because of other bases. Regarding nuclear war, the only reason there would be nuclear war is because of arms sales. And because they talk most of our arguments, and we literally refute all of theirs, even by their framework of global stability, we win this argument. Therefore, you must vote pro.
So there are two reasons why you should cast a ballot for the proposition. First, they seem to completely ignore our solvency issue on the arguments that they're making. And they argue that we have dropped all their arguments, most of their arguments, and we have conceded to the fact about nuclear war, Chinese relations. But as we can see, we have already attacked all their arguments, and we have already told you that we actually have the benefits and their contentions because through our increments, we're not taking such an aggressive military action, and we actually have those benefits. Chinese relations, warfare, nuclear war, we're all preventing these harms, we're all having their benefits and impacts. Furthermore, these increments to specify actually increase relations because we're not taking a really extreme stance. We're making sure that we can make sure that China is not that much provoked. Furthermore, the second reason why you should cast a ballot for the proposition is that they do not account for the factual evidence that China would invade after the arms race, right? We have already told you that when we end the arms race, there is a large risk that when we end the arms race, there is a large risk that Taiwan is actually going to be invaded. We have talked about the Spratly Island. We have also given evidence about how the increments actually work. We have given evidence about how that works in the recent time in the science book, which is actually closer than the time and the examples that they are proposing. Probability. We are 100% because we have many examples to show how our strategy actually works. We have the biggest slope and impact in time frame. And as seen from this, they have a hypothetical solvency that would actually decrease war. That would actually decrease a war and nuclear war. However, we actually have a complete insolvency that we would actually prevent war in the long term because first we actually appease China, but we do not provoke China. And even if there's war, Taiwan would actually have the defense capability to do so.
First, even on their framework, we still win this debate. So first, on our own contentions, they never talked about the nuclear war scenario until the final focus, and where we say that Taiwan and China war will be inevitable and that the US should back out. They have completely confused the fact that we're actually saying that this war is inevitable and the US should back out instead. Moreover, they also never mentioned the words military balance in any of their speeches. They have conceded these two of our three arguments, and for that alone they should reduce the debate. The impact of this is that it would increase the tensions and lead to a full-out nuclear war. On the other hand, on their side of the debate, they lose because they don't clash with us at all, and that's not debate. They just keep repeating the same arguments and ignoring my answers. For example, on the selling arms increments that they talk so much about, I raised the question that China would still realize that they're selling just as much arms, and they ignored this. Moreover, they said that we should appease China in the final focus. They said that they appease China without increasing tensions, but then they have a attention that says that appeasement fails. This doesn't make sense in the first place. Moreover, we made the argument that accommodation is not appeasing, and they never addressed this. Onto democracy, they also talked about other pieces of evidence, but they ignored the fact that I already raised the question that their evidence talks about the fact that democracy will only be undermined if the US does not support Taiwan in the US-China-Taiwan war, and that is different from arms sales. They never addressed this. So onto the impact. Our impact is way greater. We give you 4 scenarios for extinction: nuclear proliferation, global warming, economic decline, and nuclear war. Ours is far more likely because we provide so many scenarios. Also, we specifically have impact cards that says that it leads to extinction, and thus you should vote for the pro.
Now, first against our opponent's counterplan of Canada, there are a couple solvency deficits. Canada's inaccessible, legal, cultural, and linguistic barriers to slave refugees. Going on case against innovation, they said that innovation is high now. Eventually, things will change. Linking to competitiveness, we are talking war. Competitiveness on tech makes risk of decided's trap war with China very likely. Allison, April 20th.
Canada CP plus that America is still a better choice than Canada because America is, as I said before, the powerhouse of today, so that all the writers should go to America because America has like greater budgets and and it's safer, so that more people, so then the immigrants should go there because they can meet up with all the rest of the brightest people and work together.
Contrary to expectation, there has been no vast public rejection of the open global economy. Indeed, public support for the open trading system has So the act is simply claiming that we have to protect these children's rights psychologically and physically, and to allow them to be attached to their parents and to be able to depend on their parents and learn from their parents, and how emotional regulation and self-regulation and also other psychological developmental behaviors. That way we can allow the children to be the future. So if children is our future, then we should protect them, and by passing our bill we are simply using our plan and the bill to protect these children and reunite them with the family.
So Judge, I would first like to tell you what our app is again. So our app is called a green card app, and what it's talking about is that by increasing the amount of green cards that we put out there to immigrants, then these immigrants will have the capability to come to the US and therefore help out in sectors such as the AI, agriculture, or food, I guess, and also the nursing community, which we are, as we prove, missing. And throughout our opponent's speeches, I was very confused, for I do not really know what their counterplan has to do with our three advantages, which is food, security, and nursing. Food, security, nursing, and AI. And I really don't understand how is increasing EB 1, 2, or 3 going to solve better than our advantages. For it is a well-known fact that the only way for the NEG to win is for them to win on how their counterplan or whatever they have solves better than our app, which they clearly do not have.
So lastly, and I like to talk about both worlds. So in the world of the app, you see that there's a high risk of nuclear war. The global economy is threatened. US will rely on immigrants to protect their nation for security, because if these workers for cybersecurity come from immigrants, then they are only temporary. It's not a long-term solution. However, in the world of the NEG, you can see that we have long-term solutions for cybersecurity by producing more workers from our own country. This will not only increase the global economy, because we're actually being in India. We're having these immigrant workers return to India so that they can benefit the country and increase global economy as a result. And also, we have no fear of nuclear war in the world of the NEG. So therefore, for these reasons above, please vote for the NEG in this debate.
Okay. Human trafficking.
Because they don't have the visas that allow them to work.
Yes, they are. They're creating discriminatory acts because they do not have the visas. The visas that are applied to every other US country.
If visas aren't granted to those people, then you can't solve for all your human trafficking and sex trafficking impacts. So it's all linked together, because you don't get your EB5 visas, which means you also don't get to solve your impacts of human trafficking.
You said that the courts do not solve the case, right? Can you further elaborate on why that is?
Ruling on immigration against Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is anti-immigration.
Yes.
It causes hyper-partisanship, and it leads to the losses in court legitimacy, which means that people won't trust the court. So then they won't ultimately they won't allow these people to get their visas.
The fact is that people do trust the court, such as in the case where the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage. Before the legalization of gay marriage, many people disagreed with the fact that happened.
Your that changes that. Also, the Kavanaugh confirmation this morning proved that nobody really trusts the system now, since somehow Kavanaugh just got confirmed to the Supreme Court. So how can you still trust the Supreme Court when a random guy who's accused of sexual assault is sitting in the
First of all, the act don't believe that the Kavanaugh case.
that?
First of all, the act don't believe the Kavanaugh case has anything to do with this. First of all, the Kavanaugh case, there's no.
Their only response to what we said on the TR argument was that they have to consider in distinct categories such as humanitarian or other categories. However, we say that this is over limiting the boundaries of the app, because this completely gives us no ground if we have to specify which specific category we have to put them into. However, we just say that they all fit into one category, and thus we provide this option or this alternative status quo for more people. Then they also talk about how we're actually right on the legal terms. However, that doesn't make it right. They're basically conceding that they're wrong on the definitions. So based on definition alone, we should have them all in the same category. Now, moving on to the CP or OCP. Essentially, they said that essentially we proved that empirically, right, this counterplan is not going to work because this counterplan is going to trigger the midterms DA because whenever, like in the past, we gave the example of the Democrats passing a DACA and voter backlash resulted in the Republicans winning. So empirically, it's not. They're going to lean to their own DA. And extending on this, their CP, when we said before, their CP isn't competitive because parole recipients can also apply for asylum. Like one, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, and also the CP gets circumvented. Something we talked about before. Basically. Donald Trump will allow for the circumvention of this CP, so it's not going to be effective for people who actually need help because they're just going to be met with a complete new barrier, and basically that takes out any solvency on the CP's behalf. Moving on to forced trading, their basic argument is that them are going to win. They have this trend that they're going to win, but the Republicans will use the backlash to give themselves the win. However, first they have no link. They have no specific evidence that our plan will be popular enough to flip the midterms, and their evidence is generic about immigration, not specific to our plan alone. And second, there's no internal link because immigration won't swing the moderate people. They're only talking about the extremists. Trump will be seen as flip-flopping, and Hillary Clinton's campaign proves this. And third, there's a blink turn because granting asylum based on transgender identity would be massively unpopular with Trump's rule-wide base and discuss GOP turnout. So essentially what they're doing is they're not going to ensure the Republicans win because Trump can't use the backlash from that to spur his own base. His own base is going to be turned away from him.
Next, plan can resolve uncertainty for asylum seekers. Courts have discretion to not adjudicate gender claims at Channel 11. Third,
rather than pervasive social problem. Next, all cause, judge difference. That's a great sense. System inadequacy will put on fault Smith and Fuller v. Lynch. The immigration judge denied asylum application on the basis that his testimony and the evidence were not credible. The Seventh Circuit upheld the IJ's determination Fuller was not bisexual because of this difference owed to IJ. They still check on the authority to grant deny application of asylum even when their reasoning rests on inappropriate grounds, market card grounds. Next. Some courts hold that gender alone does not constitute a PSD. It means asylum seekers have to prove twice as much to meet the nexus requirement. That's Channel 11. Other courts have ruled that gender must be present with some additional element to establish PSG, that Fanny's opinion on women's right was not sufficiently fundamental to her personal belief as a cause. Fanny continued her advocacy for then rejected claim. Fanny's case still remained normal for a court general recognition that sex may independently constitute PSG. Women could not independently constitute PSG. PSG nexus there must therefore implicitly establish two elements: one, her gender and some additional criteria.
There's so many cars uses the additional expenses minus the taxes that
Okay, thank you, I got it.
Is ethics an important issue to consider?
No.
Okay, but
Well, like the way you define it makes it not because you're running both.
Okay, so why is
both
this
sides,
not?
and that's just unfair for us because you're still going for the consequentialist consequentialist advantage while saying that the judge should reject our consequentialist dissent because you are deontological.
So why is
yet
it
you,
bad
like,
or not educational if our plan can pose?
Well, because
help
you're literally
citizens
like not
dominate?
letting us run anything because you are saying that you're allowed to defend being consequentialist, yet when we want to defend being consequentialist, you say that's unfair for you. So that's like, it's just like you should be confined to having only one of them if this debate is going to be fair for the neg in any way at all.
okay, so in your cause is first of all, your cause is the cause that you present on the ethics advantage, you say that ethics are not important. And second, propose a principle. Okay, let me ask you a question. So in your cause, you propose a principle where it's ethical to defend against existential threats. Do you agree with that cause?
Like it's ethical to
defend against existential threats.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that cause?
Yeah, it says that like even under a deontological framework, this is like an even if statement. So like at worst, at the group level, a deontological framework still means you should view the round through utilitarian lens. Like the card says, like essentially like a deontological thing say that like that committing a small genocide is like super wrong, yet committing a large genocide is no less wrong. Extinction, the card says that like basically extinction is like the largest form of genocide, and since that's no less wrong than a small genocide, it's just actually the same thing and we come to the same thing. But it doesn't go the other way. Deontological goes utilitarian, and utilitarian does not go deontological.
Basically, we're saying that because U.S. is built under a illegal status because it is under a stolen land, and
So do you think that in that case, like the U.S. is allowed to legislate? Should the U.S. be allowed to do anything within stolen land? Like, can the U.S. pass any policy?
U.S. should pass policies that does not is not contrast or clashes with other people or immigrants.
How is like opening the borders to everyone going to be able to solve that? Isn't it just welcoming
land does not belong to America. Therefore, they do not have the right to claim. They do not have the right to claim the ownership of that land because it's built on a stolen land. Therefore, they should allow the access to every single one, every single person in the world to have access to that such resource. And also about how soft power economy will be granting Trump soft power. They answer by saying about how Trump has already lost the soft power, which is another reason why we need to pass this plan in order for us to gain back the soft power that America should have, so that in order for America to gain the leadership to do certain jobs, so that the world will be following Trump for the open borders that will serve for all benefits in our plan. Now going on to Canada CP. We answer by do both. Doubles the benefit. The more country that does open borders means the more country that will reach our benefits, and also we answer by Canada as backup. If there is any problem happening, Canada could do it. Canada does not have enough resources to help solve environmental problem compared to the United States, and as well, Canada does not reach the benefit of helping U.S. gain soft power. Therefore, Canada does not fully reach our advantage. Now, going to Carlos Canada. First, again, they're not achieving our human rights advantage of guaranteeing everyone the freedom of mobility and freedom of travel, because again, there is action of selecting who can and can't go inside the United States, which is violation to our plan about how we want free access of resources for every single person in the world, which is a violation to what we believe, and as well as bring, drink, pick. Again, there is still action of picking those who can come in, which is a violation to human rights. And now going on to wages. Okay, so both teams agree on the fact that diversionary war caused Trump lash out. And our plan simply just asks for the freedom and right to access to those resources. It'll be beneficial to the fact that those manufacturers and innovators will be able to create more jobs. And with the more jobs that are being created, there won't be such wages problem, because by manufacturer and innovators, for example, you can create more jobs like helping the environment, and jobs that is going to innovate or manufacture environment is going to increase the jobs that America have, which means all those laborers coming into the United States will be able to be granted with those jobs. So wages does not stand at all. Even if you don't buy that, the problem bring and pick counterbalance still won't solve wages as well, and also it will have wages problem in Canada as well, and Canada cannot afford such wages in their country. And now going on to base. Base won't happen. Trump has done numerous things before that upsets his base, but no impact. So their impact card should be regarded. And we have to answer about how the U.S. population majority is not for Trump. Therefore, there won't be that much people that is going to go backlash against Trump, because that's not the majority. Thank you.
On wages, they fail to answer this argument. It's not about they fail to answer this argument. We need to make sure that the labor surplus is low to ensure we can maintain high wages, and we can make sure that the employers need to give higher benefits and higher wages to employees to keep them. This creates strong consumers that don't have to demonstrate to be strong consumers, thus ensuring both high savings in case of economic downturn and fueling the economy on the current scale of immigration, especially as it's temporary, it's tight, the labor market is tight. But if you pass the plan, you infinitely increase the amount of people that come to the United States. You increase the labor market to 7.6 billion people that can be used for labor, which means there is so much competition now that wages just keep getting put further and further down. And as they get more and more of their modeling argument, then we get more and more of our wages disadvantage, because as you get more modeling, there's more of the population that can drop between the two, which continually depreciates wages across the entire world. Okay, so basically how this works is that if you have a lot of labor, then you have a labor surplus, which makes the supply so high, there is so much competition, wages go down. This very clearly laid out leads to diversionary war, because Trump consistently increases the amount of diversionary he does. He started out with tweets, he went to child separation, and then he got into diversionary war, as I fact say. Let's go on to case. Okay, this argument in favor of student and child migrating laws, which can solve possible calculations started as different line and as different format as zero cost access to legal restriction does not circumvent the fact that we very costly for billions of workers and moving costs for data that ranges the huge goal against American government and this offense to market is smaller major advantage after taking moving costs into account. The more cost by the wages paid causes U.S. collapse of the economy, which leads to diversionary war. The more modeling we get, the more they trigger this. And second of all, there's no group their soft power arguments and how U.S. is key to international leadership. There is no soft power with Trump, because he was laughed at the UN. He has no more soft power remaining. Clearly that there's no modeling anymore for the U.S., and Canada is increasingly becoming the power that's looked at for modeling. Furthermore, they said that food production is key to preventing global war hunger, but it's not about having enough, it's about distributing that food. And if you're like bringing all the people to one area, you're not going to be able to distribute the food, because it's going to be a much higher concentration in one area. It's a lot harder to store that much food enough for all those people and to make sure that all the food is being distributed in that high density that we'll see there.
Now, so on to frame review. We have claimed since the first speech that U.S. should not have the right to for closing borders, and the next should be proving why the U.S. should have the right for claiming closing the borders they have, but they did not prove that. Thus, we win on based on frame review. On to economy. Increased immigrants by coming to U.S. boosts the growth economy, and it will by boosting the economy, it will have two impacts. First, if there's an economy collapse, it will eventually cause a nuclear war, and Trump initiated diversion war, which is likely to cause nuclear war and cause citizenship. And second, U.S. soft power is important because it's more important because 2019 cards saying that U.S. soft power is the key to solve every impact, terrorism and climate change. And third is that food supply insecurity is being balanced and endangered. However, if the U.S. does not provide enough food supply for the world, it will cause poverty in the countries. And the Canada Conference and the Power Conference does not achieve this because the Canadian economy is not the world leading country. Thus, even if there's an improved economy in Canada, it does not benefit the world and does not improve the world. We provide immigrants the freedom of movement and the right to live and to sustain their lives in the U.S. Avoid the structural violence, and which Canada counterplan Ranger Pig does not apply. First, we have stated that in 2AC, immigrant women are vulnerable to violence in Canada, economic conditions, language barriers, lack of knowledge about the resource. All the cases will go unreported, and this according to March 2014 cards. And Ranger Pig does not apply to human rights because there's still a selection of the immigrants who can come in. Moving on to environment. We solve the private property because opening up borders means there's no specific ownership of the land. And none of their economics solve the environmental advantage because it does not solve the private property. By opening up the borders, allow free access to resources of neighbors will likely to boost the innovations and technology that will be likely to solve the global impede the global warming. And moving on to Ranger and Pig. First, Ranger happens in all the other countries as well. So does not specific to the U.S. and does not specific targeting our country. And second, Ranger Pig will violate human rights because if it does not provide the free of movement. Next is Canada counterplan. First is that it does not solve the economy because it will also cause wages problems, wages business. And second, human rights, it will violate human rights because which will further cause the structural violence as I stated, and this is according to John 2014. And no, it does not solve the environmental problem because a Canadian does not have the resource enough for solving this climate change problem. And second, we can do both because more countries open borders is good.
See the permutation of probe we're not going for. Next on the counterplan. The counterplan solves better for two reasons. One is that it avoids the BCA. Two is that we get all of the modeling impacts because they have conceded the evidence that says that the U.S. has let a vacuum in the international arena, which means that other countries will not look to the U.S. to model the immigration policy, which means that the only country that can solve for the entirety of the AF in a larger scale is Canada. Extend the ULAN evidence that says that other European countries and Scandinavian countries are already modeling the Canadian immigration system, which means that we already have the potential to spill out in all of the alternative cause evidence that we put on the human rights advantage that says that Trump is violating human rights credibility around the world just proves the argument that Canada is the only way for us to solve it. Three is that we avoid the backlash. They've always conceded the argument on solvency that says that if these immigrants do come to the U.S., then it'll lead to increased xenophobia and lead to people backlashing against the immigrants and increasing violence in Canada. The same arguments will not happen, which means that in the long run we're more safe. Next onto the line, and they say that the permutation solves because it's double the solvency, but then they have conceded all of the arguments that we put on the permutation, like the fact that it's still linked to the base DA and the Paulson evidence that says that that says that doing Trump's policies along with the plan will mean that the Canadian soft power will decrease in the long run, which means that the perm will reverse the trend that is happening in the status quo and prevent Canada from solving in the long run with its comparatively much better immigration policies. In particular, the fact that there's soft power evidence isn't specific to the U.S. and talking about soft power in general means that if we're able to win, that we're able to expand Canadian soft power in one way or another. It means that we subsume all of their impacts about soft power being good because none of it is actually specific to the U.S. It's specific about soft power in general. That's what our Solomon 16 card is talking about. The fact that Canadian soft power is replacing American exceptionalism in the status quo, which the plan would obviously go against. And they Canada doesn't have as many resources, but that's clearly proven that's clearly disproven by the UCLA evidence and the evidence that we read in the 1NC that says that Canada's current refugee processes are already being modeled and are being solved, and then they say that it doesn't help U.S. soft power, but next on to human rights. Extend the all-cause evidence, the fact that Trump was locked out of the UN, the fact that he's engaging in multiple human rights abuses, all prove that Trump is problematic and not modeled globally in particular extent, and they don't exactly solve for human rights either. Extend the structural balance argument that says that in order to help solve the influx of refugees, they will force a decrease in healthcare and welfare, which means that these people will, so that's also infringement on human rights. On warming, they conceded that warming doesn't lead to extinction because of adaptation, which means that our scenario, which is actually existential, should always happen.
Okay, the top 8 teams from Smart Debate be brought.
Wait, did you take it?
And you're number 1, right? You get to stay right in the middle. Okay, so in the count of 1, we're all gonna go up on a word. Okay? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Put it up.
내가 제일 잘 나가. 내가 제일 잘 나가. 내가 제일 잘 나가. 내가 제일 잘 나가. 제일 잘 나가. Big bomb 라따따따 따따따따따. Big bomb 라따따따 따따따따따. Big bomb 라따따따 따따따따따. Big bomb 라따따따 따따따따.
Oh my god. 누가 봐도 내가 좀 죽여주잖아. Right. 둘째 가라면 이 몸이 서럽잖아. Right. 넌 뒤를 따라오지만 난 앞만 보고 질주해. 네가 앉은 테이블 위를 뛰어다녀. I don't care.
건드리면 감당 못해. I'm hot 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 fire. 뒤집어지기 전에 제발 누가 날 좀 말려.
옷장을 열어 가장 상큼한 옷을 걸치고 거울에 비친 내 얼굴을 꼼꼼히 살피고 지금은 8시 약속 시간은 8시 반 도도한 걸음으로 나선 이 밤
내가 제일 잘 나가. 내가 제일 잘 나가. 내가 제일 잘 나가. 내가 제일 잘 나가. 제일 잘 나가.
내가 봐도 내가 좀 끝내주잖아. Right. 네가 날아도 이 몸이 부럽잖아. Right. 남자들은 날 돌아보고 여자들은 따라해. 내가 앉은 이 자리를 매일 난 막 피곤해.
순수히 작품만 잡는 어리버리한 player. 너 빨아빠진 타이어처럼 보기 좋게 차이야. 어떤 비교도 난 거부해. 이건 겸손한 얘기. 가치를 논하자면 난 $1 billion baby. 뭘 좀 아는 사람들